Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0, a draw. The first draw of the season for Manchester United at Old Trafford. Paulo, what did you think of the game today?
Incredibly disappointed, Owen. Oh God, there's such a different energy in comparison to the Ammonia game. I mean, it's in the league. And all I can say is that in this game, like Mina said, we created our best opportunities in the last 5 minutes of the game. I felt like, weirdly enough, in the first 10 minutes, we were kind of excited about what we saw in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. I thought we saw some smooth football. Sancho standing out a lot. I thought his link-up play was very good. But then after that, it got very physical. All of a sudden, I think, like I said in the stream, we need to give Newcastle some credit because they were physical. They made it hard for us. And they were dangerous on the counter as well. I mean, you could see, like, if we were playing Lindelof today or Maguire, we would have been hurt. And they had an opportunity where they hit the post twice. And like Mina said again, I have to agree with a lot of what she said. Only maybe Martinez stood out today. I thought Sancho stood out at times when he was picking out some of these players and he was taking on a lot of the opposition fullbacks. But I thought we were kind of predictable at times. Long balls, and like we said on the stream, counter after counter after counter, and there was just no sense of control in the game.
Second game in a row where goals have been hard to come by, and you could argue there's been a lack of United being clinical, especially in the last few minutes with those opportunities. Why do you think that is? Is that just a case of some of the players not being good enough? Is it a confidence thing? Is it a tactical thing? What do you put that down to?
Well, in terms of performances?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so you look at Ammonia in the Thursday, and those kind of games happen whereby you got a ton of shots. Obviously, we had more on target than we did today, but today we still had, 15 shots? Only 2 on target. Why do you think that is? Why aren't United being clinical?
I got to be honest, even though we had 63% possession, and I never felt like at the end of the game we had that much possession.
Right.
It was a very scrappy game, a lot of tackles, a lot of interceptions, very physical. I never felt like in the Ammonia game we had about we had about 78% possession, right? In this game, us having 63 would suggest that we had the ball a lot, but I never felt we'd done a lot with it. So in terms of goal scoring, like we said today, not many opportunities fell for Ronaldo. Rashford had a good header at the end of the game, and Fred should have finished that an open goal. But apart from that, really, we got to be honest, we didn't create that much. There was one opportunity from Anthony where it was the goalkeeper's near post, so the goalkeeper was going to make that save. And apart from that, we couldn't really create much because, again, credit to Newcastle, they made it hard for us to create.
Yeah. Where do you sit on the Fred discussion? Obviously, I think Mina and KG were in agreement that he didn't play well today and he was wasteful. But to Mina's point, she was saying, well, he does get around the pitch and he does get into those areas, and that's maybe because other people aren't in those areas. But KG's saying that running shouldn't be enough for Manchester United. Where do you kind of sit on that?
No, I understood what she meant. Fred clearly has somewhat of a good eye in the game and good vision to know where he has to be at certain points in the game. So you got to give him credit for that, but you also got to say, mate, you got to be finishing those chances. And we've seen it before with Fred. We've seen it before with Fred. We've seen it last season. We've seen times like Crystal Palace where he puts in an absolute crazy finish, and we've seen times where he's in positions where he should score and he just fumbles it. So in terms of Fred, look, Fred clearly is not good enough in our midfield, in my opinion. Eriksen was a miss for me. I thought Eriksen was a miss because we lacked composure in midfield. Look how many times I went past our midfield, and you can't. Yes, Casemiro is a world-class defensive midfielder, but you can't rely on him to do the whole job by himself. So to just think that Fred there in midfield would work with Casemiro, even though they work together internationally, it's not the same at club level. We saw it today. Newcastle, they've been playing well. They have a lot of draws, but they also have the most recoveries in the league. So, and we saw that today. I mean, how many times did we have possession and they intercepted or tackled us or stopped any attacking threat from us? I mean, it happened plenty of times in this game. And another thing about Fred, how many times is it a simple ball into him and the touch is awful. Yeah. The touch is awful, or the pass is just behind the player. So yeah, in terms of Fred, for me, he's clearly not good enough, but I understood where Mina was coming from.
With Ten Hag, obviously, subs came on late. I think, how many subs did he make? 1, 2, Rashford. If that. That was just it. Can you see maybe why he was thinking that? Did he look to his bench and think there just wasn't the options there? Or still, if they're on the bench, do you bring them on anyway?
I think in the last 10 minutes, what do you have to lose? Yes, you could lose the game, obviously, but you got players on the bench that I would have loved to see Nick Bauer, and I thought it was criminal to leave Fred on, but then again, he got that opportunity in the end. So it's like, it's a tough one because I would have brought on Rashford a lot earlier, probably 65th, 70th minute. I probably would have taken off Sancho because I felt like he was slowing down a little bit in the second half. And I would have kept Ronaldo, and of course we had that discussion about the header. Would he have scored? Would he have even been in that position? Yeah. But he's definitely scoring opportunity, I feel. Either way, clearly the opportunities weren't falling for Ronaldo, so he's got to take him off. Ronaldo's he hasn't got the pace and the explosiveness that he did years ago. So he had to make a sub, and he went with Ronaldo. But I would have put Rashford on the left because simply I feel like he's very tricky on the left. I mean, we're playing most of this game on the counter, and how many long balls in this game, Owen? Yeah. So many long balls in this game. So I'm intrigued to know what Ten Hag said to these players at halftime. Continue doing long balls, continue doing these crazy passes that a lot of them got intercepted most of the time. None of them really fell for our players. I feel like he probably wanted possession. He wanted possession, but again, credit to Newcastle, they made it hard for us.
And the game's coming up, of course, it's the first game of many big games. Spurs on Wednesday, big game. Chelsea next Saturday, big game. Have you seen anything today that gives you encouragement for those games, or are we going to be looking at some really difficult fixtures?
Difficult fixtures. I mean, last season we beat Tottenham home and away. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see... Oh, God, it's hard to say you want to see your strongest team because what is our strongest team? It's really difficult for us right now, and it's probably even more difficult for Ten Hag considering how many players are out. Van der Beek, Wan-Bissaka, you got Martial, who you can't trust. Again, we didn't really talk about it today, but fullback is an issue for me, I feel. Delo, how many 90 minutes is he going to be able to play more this season? Game on Wednesday, only 2 days off. So... against Tottenham, we done well against them last season, but then again, those games were 50-50 games against Tottenham, if you remember the 3-2 and the 3-1 under Rolly. From what I remember in those games, we got a little lucky. Yes, Ronaldo was quite clinical in those games, he performed very well, but he's got big decisions to make, because if Martial was fit, I would probably play him in this game, but again, is there a conversation to be had that bring him on? Are you going to play Ronaldo again over 60, 70 minutes? You got Chelsea again on Saturday. Big decisions for Ten Hag. Yeah,
definitely big decisions. And we kind of touched on this the other day, but do you think Ten Hag looks at a result like today, and again, going back to in the week against Ammonia, and still thinks, I still don't know who my best 11 is?
I think in his mind, I don't know if he thinks to himself before he starts these games and thinks, I'm going to go with this team because it's my best team. I don't think he does that. I mean, in the press conference, he's talked about winning teams. And Ralph said the same thing last season about starting your winning team. Different teams offer different strengths and different things. Different teams will offer you different things that you have to adapt to. And in this case, you can't be playing a winning team every single time because different players will be needed for those games. Casemiro should have started against Man City, but he didn't start. So, yeah.
There you go. A draw at Old Trafford, but many games to come.